So welcome back everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about the games Rockstar cancelled or never finished. And trust me, some of these would have been incredible. So to kick us off initially, in the mid 2000s there were plans for a Grand Theft Auto zombie game. It was in the initial stages of development and the game was labelled ZTA, which would stand for Zombie Theft Auto. In context, the Undead Nightmare release was back in 2010, so this would have been quite a way before this. And if you've played this, we all know this is a cult classic. Could you imagine what a classic ZTA would be in the current era? How many call-outs for a remake in the current climate do we get now? Could you imagine what we would get for this? So Rockstar in this game were not the only ones who were developing this. It would have been part of a SmackDown production. So whilst working in conjunction with Rockstar, like they did in LA Noire, they would be developing this at the same time also. Information about this game is and will always be minimal, but we do know some details about it. It was developed initially for the PSP. For those of you who are too young to know what that is, it was the first PlayStation handheld console, which overall did pretty well, but I think you can all agree it never took the world by storm. This would have not been the first game for PSP in the GTA series though. There was already games from the GTA series such as Liberty City, Vice City Stories, Chinatown Wars, which on reflection they all did pretty well. According to Unseen64, they stated they could never agree on a budget, so negotiations ultimately broke down. So to this current date, no details have ever been released of the game, but it does appear there was an initial prototype, and there was built a couple of screenshots, so they do exist. They show mainly a variety of vehicles. So it does show in the standard 2000s GTA game series way. So the main picture I love from this one is the forklift. I can definitely see myself and as many others going crazy on it. I think we can agree this concept would have been insane. Undead Nightmare is massively loved to this day. But would you have preferred this? GTA 5 Story Mode DLC. I don't even know where to begin with this one. So it's got a number of twists and turns that we're going to try and unpick. Back in 2019 from Eurogamer, there was data leakers that found information in the DLC Diamond Casino Resort. This update revealed a ton of confirmation about the Story Mode DLC that was cancelled. When GTA 5 was initially released, Rockstar did advise there was a DLC later down the line, but in 2018 they changed their statement to say there would no longer be a Story Mode DLC. But what was found in the Diamond Casino Resort? Well, it suggests that Rockstar were planning to do a single player DLC and adding a brand new map extension to take the current map of Los Santos and redesign it into a zombie apocalypse. How insane would that be? Whilst the existing map would have been redesigned, it would have more than likely followed the Red Dead theme of having the same map but burning and broken buildings, and if it was an apocalypse you'd have more overgrown cities. But one of the locations would have been the casino. This was used in the GTA Online update. It would more than likely had a different use in relation to the apocalypse. It's mad to think just this episode goes way back to what Rockstar were doing and how much it was working undercover. It is speculated that you would either have played with Michael or Franklin from the main story mode as we know, but there were plans to put Trevor in a completely different project later down the line, but it seemed those most details in this project led to Michael and Franklin. This DLC was far enough in development for textures and designs that were made within the game. As you can see, there is petrol stations with boarded up, there are graphics and warning signs, and even some zombie logos and designs on the front of towns, so it was very far in development. There was also a plan within the textures for an alien invasion for this game. Much less is known about this than the zombie DLC, but it was within the textures. It is suggested that a character would follow an alien invasion and there would be some sort of encounter. This was an initial early stage, and Must Lecture's already known about this, I've stated. The third data source DLC content though was with Trevor. It was called Agent Trevor, and this was the furthest along across all others developments. In GTA 1.14 notes, in May 2017, the patch script you can find mission triggers and scripts with code names and coordinates with locations to start from tags, working in towards the Agent DLC. There are some cool parts such as Trevor Train, Trevor Finale, CIA lanes, and Russian jets. These were never released though, and most of this content has now been released into the GTA Online world. A lot of these story missions have also been reworded into the Doomsday heist This event happened back in 2017. A lot of these code names were found though back in 2014, so can you imagine the hype there was then? Years before the Doomsday Heist would ever release, so it was still being planned to go into the story mode. In essence, if we look at this, a lot of this content has been entwined in GTA Online, and this has been Rockstar's main focus. It has been so successful, and their thoughts of a story mode DLC may not be attractive to users. However, Rockstar then focused all their attention to online content, where essentially a lot of the users would actually enjoy the story mode DLC. Now, we do know that online is Rockstar's main focus, but this version of GTA Online was not the first. It was then created back in 1999, which went called Online Crime World, which apparently was in development and would have brought, as usual in the GTA line, the bird's eye view from the GTA Online game. It would have been just for PC, allowing people to play online at the same time. Not too much is known about the specifics, but reports around the time are confirming this game is called GTA Online Crime World, and the next level of GTA would be the 3D world. It seemed as though once GTA 3 was released, it was never mentioned again and merely left in the shadows, and no online would actually be brought into Grand Theft Auto until GTA 4. But once again, this was not the essential initial plan from Rockstar. GTA Online Crime was put to the side when working on GTA 3, but there is coding within GTA 3 to have made it multiplayer. In the game files, there were leftover text strings that involved multiplayers, such as searching for games, connection to the internet, and even game types like domination and capture the flag. There were unused multiplayer game backgrounds as well that were never used. And according to Rockstar, they scrapped the online multiplayer as they'd much rather focus on developing Vice City, which instead at that time was the next GTA game. It's cool to see how much Rockstar had developed in the initial idea of online and its origination, and it would be good to see if it was released. But one of the most mysterious and strangest titles that Rockstar announced that we've never heard from was called Agent. This would have used the Rage engine, and this is the current GTA 5 engine model. Not too much is known about this, and it would have been made by Rockstar North and would have been a PS3 exclusive. Development of this game tracks back to 2007, Rockstar creating a brand new franchise, but it wasn't until 2009 when we actually heard something about it. And even then, we knew nothing about it like Rockstar normally says. It's set in the Cold War 1970s. It's planned to take players into the world of counterintelligence espionage with political assassinations. So it may well have been similar to a Hitman franchise game, but a bit more serious than the current GTA titles. But as we know that Rockstar, when they release games, they always make it a hit. After the announcement, nothing was brought up though for a further 2 years later, when Rockstar actually came out to say the Agent is still in development phases. We've heard that a number of times about the different Rockstar games, but at the time, in the future when Rockstar was quoted on the game, it came out to say there's no news to report on Agent. So this is where we sit with it today. In all fairness, after not hearing anything from them for the last 10 years, it's clearly a project that was developed and has now been closed off. But the next one is probably the most biggest request from fans it has been for the last 10 years. Bully. Now where do we even start with this series? As soon as it was released, it was loved. And for years after this, there has been continuous speculation from fans, media sources, of Bully 2. And for a long time, it was a well-known secret that Bully 2 was in undercover development and was being made. It wasn't until the last few years that we actually got confirmation that at one point Rockstar did have plans for a Bully 2. Now the leaks came out from the start of the sequel when the music artist from the game confirmed he was working on the soundtrack for Bully 2. However, Rockstar never actually confirmed or denied this. And ever since that, rumours of this game have circled round and round, which feels like an eternity. Now, this is a massive fan favourite, and this has not stopped speculation, and even people working in Rockstar have mentioned after the release the development was inspected, and the game Bully 2 would have been a different turn from the original one, so it would have been something different. But as you well know, nothing came out. It was in fact Red Dead Redemption that was in the making and needed further resource. Was it the fact that it was moved to the back burner and moved to a prototype which created Bully 2 to fall apart, as further resource was needed to help with Bully 2? Now, these are only a few of the games that Rockstar have been involved with that have never been published. If you like the video, make sure you comment what game that we've covered you wanted to see, and let me know if you want to see another part of this video. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.